So right now I'm working on this rear window opening. I cut off the maximum amount that I could get off of this rear window opening without messing up this bead roll. That allows me to fill in or keep the biggest window size as I can. So after I chopped the top here, the opening was 4.5 inches smaller, right? But I want to try and keep the got all this all welded up back here. It looks real nice. Once it's grounded, it'll be almost perfectly straight. Back window here also. See, it doesn't matter how pretty your welds are, as long as you get good penetration. If you look over in here, you can see that I'm getting penetration, which is about the perfect amount. You gotta make sure you're not gonna warp your metal, but you still want good penetration. So I usually go about 6 little tacks in a row. 6 little tacks, like right in here. Then stop, blow it off with the air nozzle for a few seconds. Skip over to here, do like 6 more, blow it off. Go back to here, 6 more, blow it off. 6 more, blow it off, and continue all the way around type deal. That gives you good heat, but it won't warp the sheet metal because you're cooling it faster than it can travel throughout the steel. Just take your time. Chops are all about how intricate and how much you have attention to detail. Make sure everything's straight. Use lots of clamps. Whatever you gotta do. So this is day number 4. Got, I want to say, about 6 hours in today. I welded some of this up. Finished welding all the chop. I pie cut all these posts and then bent them in and formed them so that they're a smooth transition. Got this one here really damn nice. There's a step in it before, so I pie cut it, smoothed it. Not bad for no mud. Gotta grind the rest of this, but I got the rest of this welded here. And then I've been toying with the idea what I'm gonna do for seats. These are kind of funny, but I think they'll actually work out pretty good. This cabinet was in our bathroom for about 15 years, and we were just gonna burn it. And I was looking at it, I was like, huh. I was originally gonna take the hinges just for hinges for a seat, but then I was thinking, maybe all these doors will actually work good for seats. Next step is to get the back doors chopped. I have the back doors over here. Here's all 4 doors, but I need to get the back doors chopped first. Chop them 4.5 inches, just like the rest of this. And then I need to get them in here, and I'm actually going to tack them up. I'm going to tack the door to the post and the door to here, and then I'll start chopping that. And then I'll start fusing all this together kind of deal. Long process, but it's going to be badass. I'm excited to have something that no one else has ever done. Different, that's what it's all about. So here I have the passenger side rear door. I took off all the door mechanism and window mechanism that's over here. I'm going to save that because I'll probably need this window mechanism. I got it all lubed up and moved really nice. I'll probably need that so that I can have one big long window, so I'm saving all that. Saving the door handle too, because who knows if I'll need the mechanism or not. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get out. They didn't design it for it to be easily taken out because they rarely ever break. But here's the door. So for this right now, I am going to, since I have to cut out this center pillar, and I'm going to need the trim that's on the other side here, I'm going to need as much of it as I can get to fuse or to blend in that little piece right there. So what I'm going to do right now actually is I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to weld a steel bar from here up to here across the other side, and that'll simulate the doorpost here, so when I cut it up, this door doesn't go all out of shape, so it doesn't kind of go like this or like that or anything like that. So that basically the post will just be replaced by this bar, and then I can cut out this so I have the full 11-inch piece. If I were to chop this first, chop out the 4.5 inches and do just a regular chop, that wouldn't work, because then I'd have two short pieces that I need to actually 3 short pieces that I need to fuse back together, creating more welds, and that's going to make a dirtier seam. So I'm going to do this ahead of time. You got to think ahead when you're doing stuff like this. Just think 2 steps ahead, so don't put you 3 steps back. Okay, so now that I got this section cut out, I can just treat this like it's a doorpost. So what I'll do now is I'll tape this up with my duct tape that I was using for the chop. Cut this the 4.5 inches and cut this the 4.5 inches. Splice it back together, and basically just do this like it's a doorpost. Pretty simple. Another way you can do it is you can cut this in half, or wherever you're gonna you're gonna take out your inches, and then you can mount the door into the car, and then you can trim to fit if you think that your chop was off a little bit. Say you want to be very accurate, you can do it that way also. So because I'm chopping this door off of the car, ooh, that was rough. Anyways, I welded in, tacked in this little angle iron here on one side, the top side, and then the bottom side is just kind of loose here, right? That'll allow me to actually cut this, chop it, move it, and then I can just clamp this up tight. If you look here, see it's tight in the corner. All I gotta do is move it down, clamp it tight, and I know it's gonna be straight. That allows me to keep it straight so the pillars don't go this way. Kinda so you get like a V action, a little V action, like that. And then it'll also allow me to keep it straight as far as this way. Day 5 or 6. Got some door work done. Started emptying this out. I think I got 8 hours in today, so that makes it a total of about 50, I believe. Coming along slowly but surely. So I'm still working on fusing this back door here. As you can see, I channeled this out for the window. The window is going to start here, and it's going to go all the way up to the inner on this door. This door needs to get welded on. But I'm going to show you guys something here. So before I weld all this on, I'm going to dry fit it up, and I'm going to kind of make sure everything's going to work out. And then I'm actually going to go through and mark everywhere that needs to be welded so I can grind all this down clean before I put the door on and start tacking. You want to do that before so you can get good penetration and you don't have to worry about trying to get in the tight spot. But if you look down here, just a second here, got the door up somewhat tight there. If you look down here, along this door around here, there's a big gap. I don't know if you can kind of tell where that is in relation to the car. It's this big gap down here. Now I'm not going to want to fill all that in with weld, so I'm actually going to take a piece of round stock, probably 1/8 inch or smaller, and weld it to the bottom of the door here all the way around this curve, just to fill that gap before I start welding this on. That'll make my job easier in the long run because I won't have to throw so much weld in there. And then down here on the bottom, so I can make it look like it's all natural, I want it to all fuse sort of like it does up here. You see where it just got that natural bead roll to it. It's gonna be hard to do, but I think I'll be able to blend it pretty nice. And then down here on the rocker, I'll just weld it solid and then grind it so it just looks like a flat body panel. That'll also give it some structural stability, welding all this stuff back together so it's more of a steel body versus wood body. Because I'm putting in this door back in like this and welding it in, it's actually going to create a stronger body because there's more reinforcement than there was before. Because this was a hinge door, it didn't give you any support. So now that it's solid, it's going to give me more support. And then once I get all this in here, as you can see, I got this door gutted. I'm going to have to do something more with this door down in here to reinforce it, just to give it a little more strength, the whole body. and then sort of continue through that. So as you can see here, I took this little 1/8 inch rod, just a little round stock stuff that I had sitting around, and then I actually formed it. Just basically I just kind of took it over to here, bent it along this rail, and that's going to give me the same curvature as the door. And then once you actually start tacking it, you can work around with it because it'll be a little bit warm. As you go, just go every couple inches and get it lined up this way, because you can see the door has like a slight curve to it. So you're going to have to slowly bend it down that way also. When it's warm, it's easy to do. So that works out pretty good, and then just finish welding it, trim the edges, and you're good to go. So right now I'm going to go ahead and tack up all this extra metal that was here. This was where the door was hinging before. Now I'm not going to need this, but I still want to be able to have it as a kind of a stabilizer for the whole body. So I'm going to tack up, clamp up, and tack up this inside here. Since you won't see this, it doesn't matter if there's tacks there. There's nowhere else to tack it because of the wood. But I'm going to tack it, and then I'll end up grinding it down enough so that the door fits nicely. Do that down here. Follow that all the way down here. Because this is all wood structure and I want all this to be one big piece so that it can't flex or move, because the wood is somewhat rotten in some spots, so this will actually take the spot of the wood. Back in the day they didn't want to do us welding because it made all this dirty looking, and just because it was laborious compared to just nailing in some wood. So now I got this all tacked up. Basically what I did here, I got the body lines lined up, and then I tacked the top and made it sure it was flush, and then went and tacked the bottom where it was flush, and then I pried up with the screwdriver till all of it was flush because the door got a little bit tweaked, either the door or the body. I'd recommend not tacking the bottom depending on how far off your door was. Mine wasn't very far off, so I just tacked the top and the bottom and then worked it. Otherwise, if you tack it down here and there's not enough steel and you got to work it out a lot, you're going to run out of steel and it's not going to work out. And then up here, just got it tacked up in here for now. This is actually where the other door sits, and there's going to be like a 1/8 inch gap, so I'm actually going to have to grind that out of there. That's just to hold it in place for now, and I'm going to have to weld or build a bracket on the inside here to hold it in place on top. And then down on bottom, do the same thing down here. Same thing in this corner. And then I'll end up grinding all this away and then seam sealing it. That's not welded there, that's just welds from what I added on. I probably should have ground that all down before, but I kind of wanted to see how it all fit. So I'll grind all that down, and then I'll seam seal this with just some silicone of some sort. Maybe throw a couple tacks in there, hot tacks, so they're not protruding. Grind them down just to hold it. As you can see, I'm going to have a pretty big gap there to fill in just because that's door gap. That's kind of how it goes. I could have added something to that, but this is fine. It'll just give me more strength in my weld. So the next step, now that I got this all in here, I can cut this post out here, my simulated post. So right now I'm actually going to shave this door handle hole. So to do that, all you got to do is pound all this flat and smooth, and then grind away just so you can tack. And then I'm actually using these little cutouts. Round cutouts, we got a bunch of them laser cut, but you can use a hole saw and cut these out of really any steel that you want. Thicker steel is going to be easier with a hole saw, and since then a door handle doesn't really matter how thick it is. So basically all I did was took one of those round cutouts, tacked it onto a piece of just scrap steel, and you can hold it like so and tack it, and then get it all fit exactly how you want to tack around and grind it, and it's as easy as that. These work out really nice. If you can find these anywhere, I would recommend buying them. They fill any kind of holes, just get different sizes, and it's pretty easy.